Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome to my favourite type of video, the double unboxing. Consumption for me, vicarious consumption for you as you get to watch me peel the stickers off two brand new watches. The last unboxing video I made was actually a triple unboxing of three affordable dive watches at the beginning of December. I'm wearing one on my wrist right now, the Vostok Zizou with matching t-shirt. You can expect to see a review of that one coming up later this month. Today's unboxing is a little bit different. It's the first time I've unboxed two watches from the same brand for a start, that brand being Feynman watches. Also, you saw the pop-up, I'm sure. I flagged this as a sponsored video. It is more accurate to say that this is a semi-sponsored video. I paid for both of these watches, but I did get a discount from the brand. I've been chatting on and off with the owner of Feynman watches for about a year now about getting one in for review. They've launched two very successful Kickstarter campaigns for two really rather interesting watches, but the watches do sit slightly outside of the channel profile, coming in at about $1,000 each. I didn't therefore want to do a standard sponsored review. I thought this was a better way of doing it, so I bought these two and I get to peel them and play with them in my own time. I think this is going to be really interesting for me and for you. I don't think the photos of these watches on their website necessarily do them justice, or at least I'm hoping they don't. I think these are going to be very, very interesting to look at. Let's flip the camera and find out if I'm right. Well, I hope I'm right, considering I've just bought two of the things. I was chatting to the owner of Feynman watches, a chap called YK Lim. They're based in Singapore. This is their first watch, the One. This is their second watch, the Cove. I haven't been in at these boxes, I promise you. I do keep this genuine. I do keep it fresh, as much fun for me as it is for you, hopefully, therefore. But I did lift the lid just to make sure I knew which was which. But don't worry, that's all covered up. There's a big, long instruction card with plenty of details. In fact, why don't I move this one to one side and open the lid on this one. I was chatting to him about a year ago about reviewing this one, their One Eclipse, the first model that launched on Kickstarter, but I just thought it was maybe slightly obscure for the channel. It is quite a distinct look that they have carried on to the both models as well. The Cove has the same look. As you will see, there is rather a lot going on. I don't think these watches are going to be for everybody, but it was a watch that I kept coming back to. I would find myself looking at their website every couple of months, so when he got back in touch about the Cove, I thought, why not? Why not jump in? You've got to take a risk occasionally, so I picked up both of them. And I knew this one was the Eclipse because it has an ETA 7001. This is a hand winding movement. What else have we got here? Top grade, fully decorated. Mechanical, 42 hours, 17 joule, 21,600 vibrations per hour. They even tell you the lift angle here, which is very nice, amplitude range and so on. So we are a kind of dress watch, I guess, but with a very unusual look. A lizard skin strap, which is something I have only encountered once before, but running at -3 seconds per day. Healthy amplitude, again, I've never seen this all written down, and the founder's signature there. I guess you do get what you pay for, and this one, as I said, costs a little bit more. Let's get into this box then. Alright, well, I am certainly excited to see what lies beneath. Let's pop the lid. Again, Feynman timekeepers, very nice, and oh, yep, that's the one I asked for. In wine colour. And there we go, the Feynman One Eclipse. As I said, a lot going on and a really, really interesting aesthetic overall. I think there's probably a parallel between Feynman and Ming. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Ming, kind of top-end boutique micro brand, limited runs of watches, very, very distinct aesthetic across the range, and they have been able to establish that look very, very quickly. I think Feynman are onto a similar thing here. Not the same thing. I think there's more going on here than there is in your average Ming. Let's peel off some stickers. But I think they have developed a really interesting look for the brand overall really quite quickly. Now, as much fun as the front of this watch is, love the rich wine colour, the leaf hands and so on, I'm equally interested in that. That is a top grade ETA 7001. I believe these movements, I was doing a bit of research on these ones today, I believe they are older than me, having originated in the early 1970s and featuring in various watches, including, this is the basis of the alpha movement that powers most modern Nomos. Let me just peel that sticker off. Yeah, that is gorgeous. I don't have all that many manual wind watches in my collection at the moment, so I thought that would be a welcome addition. And lizard skin strap, like I said, let's fire this one up and make sure it is a goer. And then I will pop it on wrist. Yeah, It's working. Let me set the time and get this one on wrist. Yeah, that is quite spectacular looking. You know the way that you look on some websites and you think that they've hired the world's best photographer to take their photos? Well, I thought something different when I looked at the Feiman website. I thought that they probably hadn't done themselves or their watches justice with the photos. I'll leave a link to the website in the description of the video. You can see if you agree with me. A huge amount of depth here. It's quite a thick watch considering it's a manual wound and it doesn't necessarily have to be all that thick, but they have certainly utilised that. There's a big deep chapter ring, couple of Romans there at the 6 and the 12. There's an inner recess with a kind of lattice pattern. There's a little small second indicator down there at the 7 with what can only be described as a lizard's tail second hand. Look at those leaf hands shining very, very nicely indeed. The whole thing looking great. Yeah, really pleased with this one so far. It has lived up to my expectations. Let's look at its big brother. Okay, number 2, the Cove. I'm expecting a 40mm compressor case dive watch on a rubber strap that has the same looks as the one, but obviously in a slightly more robust package than the rather dressy Eclipse that I just showed you there. So an ETA 2895-2, which I believe is the small second variant of the 2890 family, also top grade, fully decorated. What's this one running at? -3 seconds per day, again, 0 beat error, and that is signed off again by the owner on the 12th of December. Let's get into this one. Oh yeah, and I went for the vintage colorway with this one. Yeah, so there you go, same but different. It's got that lizard tail small second. It's got a number of design characteristics, plenty of depth in the dial, the recess center as well, but in a different package. And apparently the loom on this one is also spectacular. I don't normally do a loom video for unboxings, but I might pop a little bit of a loom shot in here for you. Plenty of it and all over the place. Now, as I said, 2895-2 here, top grade, fully decorated. Let me peel that one off. A couple of 100 meters of water resistance. Doesn't come on a bracelet, just comes on this rubber strap. Let's give the movement a wind, get the time set and get it on wrist. And yes, I am recording this at 10 on a Friday night because this is my life. A really, really interesting and unusual look from both of these watches. Plenty going on here with this one too. It's kind of chunky considering it's a 40 and 46. It's quite thick, it's quite beefy, and that 22mm lug width rubber strap also chunks it up. Nice buckle there, again with the branding on there etched. Let's take it off and play with that inner rotating bezel for a bit. So as you would expect from a compressor style dive watch, bottom crown adjusts the time and the top crown just a half a little twist there, and it adjusts that inner rotating bezel. Yeah, look, I don't think too many people are going to be taking this one diving. There are a gazillion more practical and probably cheaper watches to do that with. This is definitely about the looks and a really, really interesting, really striking looking watch again. Perhaps not quite as striking as the Eclipse, but then it's a dive watch, so there are a few conventions that it has to adhere to. Now, quick release straps here, big thick etched rubber strap. I reckon this thing could be a bit of a strap monster. I'm not sure that the plain matte finish rubber does this one justice. I'm looking forward to playing with it over the coming weeks and months. Getting it on some new straps, might even treat it to a few just for itself. So what do you think then? I'm sure for most people watching this will be their first taste of Feiman watches, me included. I just unboxed the things and peeled off the stickers. Really, really interesting look. I am not disappointed in that regard. Now, both successful Kickstarter campaigns, but not massively successful in terms of volume. I think both of them were about 100 units each, so they're not going to be a massively big volume-based brand. I don't think that's what they want for the brand. I think it's one of these brands that, much like Ming, they might end up with a bit of a cult reputation if they can keep this look up and they can diversify into different sectors of the market, different styles of watches, but remaining identifiably Feiman. Then I think they could do well for themselves. This one in that colour is just spectacular. This has certainly been the standout of the two. I'll give this one a bit more wrist time. The reason I was happy to buy these two is because I thought they would deserve a bit more wrist time, part of my collection, part of my rotation, and I'll come back with full reviews in due course for them over the course of maybe the first 6 months of this year. But first impressions, I'm not disappointed. They need to sort out the website photographs. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in a future video.